Welcome back everyone to the channel. Today I want to talk about 5 NFT photographers and artists that I think you guys really should know about. The reason why I'm showing you guys these particular sort of 5 artists and photographers is because I'm just providing these examples as inspiration just to show you guys that, hey, maybe I could do that myself. You may or may not have known that this type of work sells as NFTs, because generally if you think of NFTs, you think of sporting highlights, you think of 3D renderings, but these guys are specifically photography based sort of NFT artists. They all have varying sizes of audience. So you got some that have a lot of audience, a lot of followers on Instagram, hundreds of thousands, and then you've also got some 1 or 2 that are very small, 30,000 or even some even less than 1,000 followers. But the thing that they all have in common is that they're all killing it with NFTs. They're all selling it, they're all making good money, they're all thriving as NFT artists. What they all share is that they all just put out incredible work, and that is the most important thing. The most important thing when it comes to doing well with NFTs. So with that said, let's get into it. So first up, the first photographer I want to show you guys is a New York photographer by the name of Billy Din. He's a street photographer. He describes his work as stills from this movie we call life. His work is just phenomenal, just absolutely, his stuff just, he's honestly one of my favorite just street photographers, modern street photographers. Absolutely love his work. They're always so grungy, so moody. You just look at it and they generally do look like stills from like a really grungy indie film. Very cool, moody tones, every composition, all the colors, just absolutely stunning. I'll link all of their NFT pages down below so you can actually see how much their NFTs are selling for. So moving on, another street photographer by the name of Fidel Amos. On Instagram, he goes by Fidel everywhere. And if you haven't already, I actually did an interview with him. Link it up here. The reason why I brought him onto the channel and why I'm showing you his work now is because, first of all, he is a fashion photographer. He is a street photographer. He's been a photographer for a long time. From New York, lives in Italy now, and teaches photography at a art school in Verona. The reason why I brought him on is just because he is just a normal guy. Doesn't have a huge following, a very small following in fact, but just because he got involved in the community, he's an asset to the community. He gets involved on all the relevant clubhouse groups, on Twitter. He buys and collects other NFT artists' work. He also promotes other NFT artists. So he does all those things that are really all about building community. But the other reason why he is able to sell his work for the prices that he sells his work is because it's just good work. Like, his work sells itself really. For example, the collection that we talk about in the interview is called his Black and White Nights, which is his documentation of all the parties that he used to throw as a party promoter back in the early 2010s. And I just love this photo right here. Gotcha. It's clearly another fellow photographer there, and it just looks great. Like, there's a great story. These 2 women dancing against each other. If the work's good, you get involved in the community, really get stuck in, really get a feel and become an asset to the community. The size of your following doesn't matter. And if we look at how much it's sold, the floor price at the moment of his Black and White Nights is 1.1 ETH. And at the time of recording this video, 1 ETH is worth, about just over 3,000, that much. He's able to pay his bills, he's able to, just get really, really good passive income, because they're all reselling, silly money now. I think one of his pieces resold for 8 ETH. Great stuff. Moving on, I want to talk about another photographer, this time a female photographer. She goes by the name of Mcnaughty on Instagram, and I love her work because it's not just photography, but it's photoshopped photography. So if any of you guys have any sort of skill with photography, photo manipulation, you know, you can combine the two: photography, photo manipulation, create something cool. You know, this way, you know, you don't need to go outside. If you know how to make sick, incredible images from within your room and then sell it for, you know, however much you want to sell it for, you can do that. You know, she's absolutely killing it with these NFTs. For example, she is selling all of her pieces for, you know, at 2 ETH a piece. Like, 2 ETH is pretty darn good. Moving on in the same sort of vein of sort of trippy, 3D, fantastical, you know, out of this world, neo, cyberpunk sort of vibes, I want to show you guys another artist by the name of Reuben Wu. He is like a, you know, I would call him a very big photographer, because, you know, he shoots for Nat Geo. He's a Phase 1 ambassador, and he basically invented the aeroglyph. I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, these sort of things where these sort of just trails of light that are being made with a drone. He is essentially, as far as I'm aware, he is the guy who came up with the aeroglyph. Light paintings in the middle of the desert, and he creates these insane pieces of art. It's like, just look at that. Like, I honestly, he says that he does it with a drone, but like, this still makes absolutely no sense to me. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Like, just imagine how skilled you have to be as a drone pilot to create these. This is like one of my favorites. Unbelievable. So this is one of the NFTs that he sold. I'm not sure how much it sold for. I know it sold for like an insane amount. Yeah, there you go. So here's one of his aeroglyphs. Out of the earth came light, which sold for 24 ETH, which is this much. Absolutely crazy, guys. So that's basically it. Those are the NFT photographers I wanted to share with you guys, just to really spark some inspiration. Maybe you saw something in there and be like, actually, I could do something like that. I could create a collection. I could, you know, I really wanted to empower you guys in this new space to sort of, you know, maybe you've always felt like, you know, this making money on with my work is sort of reserved for people who are in the know, people who are in the industry. Whereas now with NFTs, you don't need any of that. You just need to get involved in the community, get involved on Twitter. You know, especially if you're a newbie, you know, you're gonna have to do the legwork. You're gonna have to lay down the groundwork of getting to know people, in order to get people to promote you, you're gonna need to promote other people and get involved. Become an asset, you know, be a real community member, and then work on producing good work. You know, you don't have to create a huge collection like what Fidel has done with that 50-piece Black and White Nights collection, but maybe you could create one-off pieces more like Reuben Wu. You know, he made about, so on his foundation page he only has 4 pieces there. So depends how you want to play it. Hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you learned something. I hope it sort of maybe gave you some impetus to really flex your creative muscles and, you know, maybe put out your first NFT. That's it, guys. Follow me on Instagram at ZainReaderPhoto. Subscribe if you haven't already. Keep learning, keep shooting. I'll see you all in the